frequency where the truth, the cosmic truth, not the relative truth, exists, and you get the static off the line, and then you're in direct communication with Thoth. And that's our main teacher for decades, 3 decades for me.
So what is it you're trying to do? You're trying to decode the hieroglyphics to get to the truth behind the Egyptian Empire, the lessons, the.
Can I take it?
Yeah, go ahead. Take it, Nicki.
Actually, we're trying to find solutions to the problems on the planet so that we can bring as many people together through our books and the power of our numbers when we do planetary healing calls to actions, which are free phone calls where we try and get as many people as possible at the same time doing this magical work and finding solutions, putting them into action, revisioning the future, and getting back to that place of love, as you said, that was the 60s. That it's all everything's based in fear and greed now. And so my commitment when I realized I was becoming a teacher was to be able to provide the kind of elevated and expanded consciousness without requiring the use of things that make you paranoid or look over your shoulder or spend your life in jail.
And one of the things that I think is really important is it's to remember that ancient Egypt has a history that's at least 3,000 years recorded history.
Right.
And from what they can look back into,
That's before Christ.
Yeah, that's before Christ. But that history was a long study in consciousness raising, and it was really about how to use the power of thought to manifest into the world. And I mean, that becomes translated as a word called Heka, which has been translated as magic. But the truth is that it's the power of the mind and the use of the will and the power of love to create that which you wish to envision, i.e. a better world. And the more people you have exercising this power of thought, the more likely that the world that you want to envision will come to fruition. What you had in ancient Egypt was a culture where, this one vision was given to the high priest or shaman who, the pharaoh who engaged the culture itself in fulfilling the vision in a point. It wasn't just self-aggrandizement, although it became that in its corruptive phases. But it was intended as a great process of civilization, of bringing understanding and relationship as co-creators.
We believe the time for charismatic leaders is over because every person has to own their own authority,
right,
and direct connection with divinity and cosmic law and natural law.
So let me ask you this, ladies. It would appear to me that the ancient Egyptians were really a lot further evolved than we are right now. What happened to dumb us down as dumb as we are now, as we're striving so hard to get back to where we used to be?
Well, here's a thought. Let's take it out of the construct of time as a linear function.
Okay.
Past, present, future. What if all that we have now in this web of being, which, physics proves to us that we are in this entire web where time and space, are all a part of one essence.
That's right.
They
Okay.
converge. So how is it that something that has happened in the past, you say, as ancient Egypt, and yet here we are now studying what this consciousness is in order to create and manifest it? What makes you think that we're not doing it right now? that we're not manifesting that ancient Egyptian consciousness.
It's very simple,
right
because
now.
if you were, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You're striving to do it. You're not doing it. You're striving to, because if you had accomplished it, you wouldn't be writing books. You wouldn't be going back to Egypt. You wouldn't be educating
They're
people.
doing it.
But we're committed.
But still, the accomplishment would be there. You wouldn't be talking
It is
about.
already
It
there.
is already there. It's
It
just
is
a matter
already there.
of how we evolve doesn't depend on 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or a few thousand individuals.
Mm-hmm.
There are billions of people, most of which are either dumbed down like the masses in this country. I don't know enough about yours to know if it's as bad as how it is here. And their desire nature is for things that are completely insignificant.
Well, is that being dumbed down by a government, or is that just people being lazy? It's
Well-
easy. It's easy to blame the government for anything that goes wrong, but it takes
not.
Wait a second.
Okay.
But it takes real people to stand up and say, "Hey, you know what? I screwed up." You don't blame God, you don't blame the devil, you don't blame the government, you don't blame the neighbor next door, you don't blame your wife. You take responsibility and say, "Hey, I screwed up." And what I see is that society is very lazy. They don't take care of their kids. They don't want to get involved in the solution of problems when it comes to politics, neighborhoods, schools. As long as everybody has their luxury items and they don't have to talk to each other, but just, use their little iPads and their iPods and away you go.
Well,
And why are they lazy? Because they don't have the power of the vision. And if they knew that they had the capacity for envisioning a different future, would they use it?
No, they wouldn't.
That's the question.
No, they wouldn't.
so that's where greed comes in, because most of the people are too busy just simply trying to survive
Uh-huh.
than be lazy. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of options.
Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents US per edition. And don't forget, the X Zone store is now open as well for all of your X Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. Nicki, Scully, and Normandi, Ellis are our guests. If you'd like more information on Nicki, her websites are www.shamanicjourneys.com. And for Normandi Ellis, her website is www.normandyellis.com. All right, during the commercial break with the news, we were discussing many things. And I was telling you ladies that my job here in the X Zone as a journalist and a broadcaster is not to preach to the people on which aspect of the alternative ways of thinking that they should follow. That's not my job. My job is to bring to the airwaves, bring to TV, put in print, the information that they can make their own informed decision on. Now, we've got people that are listening to the show right now who may be saying, I don't buy this stuff about Egypt. It was just a culture. It's just gone. Okay, great. They've got some pyramids. It's a great tourist trap. Away you go. That's what some people are thinking.
Is that information or is that opinion?
That's their opinion, just like what you're talking about is your opinion as well.
Right. So if you put it out that we're giving information, we have to be very careful as journalists not to give our opinions as if it were information. And basically, my understanding is that almost everything that comes through our own consciousness has been gleaned from some other source and is put out as information. The news is really, to me, what goes on that's new inside the self. And no offense to you, Rob.
Sure.
I don't watch a lot of television and I don't listen to a lot of radio because I find that opinions creep into what I would classify as news information. And what I have to be careful of is having negative thoughts coming in from the outside, because that creates a culture of fear, which is just what we were talking about. Everybody's afraid. They don't have enough. It amps up their desire nature. They want more of this or more of that. They become greedy. And so we have to really be careful what we're telling people. The most important thing, in my opinion, that we can give anyone is the act of love and loving understanding and the talk between people that comes from a real heart-centered place.
I understand.
And
I
I think you'd agree with me too.
I understand where you're coming from, but if you have gone through airports in the past and you've seen Hare Krishnas there, all they wanted to do was spread love. And how are they treated by the public? How are the hippies treated by the public during the 60s? People don't want to have to be told, make love, not war. Jesus loves you. They don't want to be. Wait a second. No. Wait a second. They don't want to be told. They want to discover this on their own.
Yay, team. So you said this show was about shamanism. But shamanism isn't about information. It's about experience.
So what kind of experience makes a person a shaman then?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm not going to go through all that I had to go through in my life to sit in this chair and be who I am and have the reputation that I've gained. But what I can do is, in a short meditation, give your listeners an experience of what it feels like, because you can fool people with imagery, you can fool people with words, but you can't fool people with feelings.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Okay. So, how much time do we have? I want to be really careful.
We have 11.
Fast.
We have 11 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this off very quickly. So I'll ask your listeners, if they're driving, just pull over for a few minutes so that they can really focus on this. And all of the work that we do is heart-centered and begins at the heart.
Okay.
So you begin by just taking a moment to relax, take a deep breath, focus on your heart, and perceive, imagine, see, feel, however it comes to you, that your heart center is a sanctuary for